Hey guys, it's Carol with Refunction Crafts, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to make these little crosses out of nails. And all you need to do is to be able to find some nails in your garage. Most of us have husbands that have nails in their garage, or someone that's got nails, and we hang things on the walls and so forth. So this is what we're going to be making today. It's a fairly simple project, so it should be an easy one to follow. I'm going to turn on just a little bit more light here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had a tickle in my throat. So what you're going to need to do this project is you're going to need some nails. And these are nails that I stole from my husband's garage, and you can see one's larger than the other two. This one is what my husband affectionately calls a sinker nail. And this one is 3 inches. And then these other two, I think these are also sinker nails, but they're a little bit shorter, and these are about 2 3/4 inches for the two smaller ones. So they're quite a bit smaller and a little bit thinner. So what your goal is just to make sure that these two are smaller than this one. This is going to be the center nail that goes down the center of the cross, and then these will be the ones that go across that way. So the other thing that we're going to use in this one, I'm going to do it a little differently. I had this pair of earrings that has these little leaves on it. I'm going to be cutting some of those leaves off and probably using that on this cross that I'm going to make today. The other thing you'll need is some twine of some sort. You can just choose your own, but make sure it's not a real heavy twine. The best thing to do is to use something like this is baker's twine here, and it's fairly thin. This is just a brown and white striped baker's twine. And this is actually the one that I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to put the other ones aside. And then you're going to need some chain and some, these are lobster clasps. You can use any kind of clasp that you may have in your arsenal. You could also do a different kind of chain. I've got different colors of chains here, gold and silver and all different colors. But for today, I'm using this lightweight copper chain, and I made these to be rear view mirror hangers. Now I know in some states people are not allowed to hang things on their rear view mirror, but here in California just about everybody has a bunch of stuff on their rear view mirror. So that's that's what I use it for. But it could be a purse charm, or it could be just something that you hang from another item in your house or what have you. But it's also, these can be made feminine or masculine. It's a great way to make a masculine gift for one of your guys in the family or a guy friend that is a Christian and has a lot of faith and enjoys, you know, the cross. So these make really great gifts, and I've sold quite a few of them in my Etsy shop as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to get started. This is my little box that I keep my nails in, but we don't really need to have that in front of us because we're taken care of there. And these are jump rings that we will be using with the chain and the lobster clasps. And then the other thing that I have here is this is 2P10 glue. And basically what this is it's a super glue. And this is an activator. This is 2P10 activator. And I buy this on Amazon. It's a super glue, and this activator makes it bond very quickly. So this was something that my husband bought me for some of my projects if I needed something to dry immediately so that I could quickly get through a project. And then I'm also going to use some rhinestone chain. This is I believe this is a 2mm rhinestone chain. It's very small, but it's very, very pretty. And this is in an iridescent stone. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to put these two over here so that I've got a little bit of working space, and we're going to get started on this one. And I think I've made this a process that's going to be pretty easy to follow and pretty quick. So hopefully this will not be a long drawn out video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two smaller nails, and I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to move you in a little closer so that you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to put these two nails together just like that. Whoops. So that the points are kind of on the inside of the nail heads, sort of like that. So what I'm going to do is on one of these nails, I'm going to take my 2P10 glue, and I'm going to put a nice little dollop, and this is sort of a gel super glue. So it doesn't come out real runny and it doesn't go all over the place. So we have a little dab of glue there, you can see that. And I'm going to touch these two nails together right there in that spot. And I'm going to just allow some of this activator to touch that glue. And I'm going to hold it together for a minute so that activator can dry and the glue can dry, and I will be able to work with these nails rather quickly. So that's how you do that. And then, so now I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to set that nail aside because I have a set that I already completed, and rather than try and work with that and think it's good to go and it's not, I thought I would just go ahead and have these ready in stages. So now we have this set that is already glued together, and we have our big nail. So we're going to take these two nails and we're going to adhere them to the big nail in the same way that we did the two smaller nails. So I'm going to get my 2P10 glue, and I'm going to put a little dollop of that on the big nail, making sure that you come down about an inch from the top or the head of the nail. So just kind of try and pay attention to that. And then I have my activator here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure these are centered, and I'm just going to let that activator drip over the nails. And this turns my napkin a little bit yellow. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It is what it is. So you just want to hold that on there. You want to give that a chance to dry. And I'm just going to blow on it a little bit, because I never trust that few seconds is enough time to actually get it dry. And plus my 2P10 glue is a little bit older than, you know, it's not brand new. I think my husband bought it for me probably a year ago. So I'm going to say it may not activate quite as quickly as I would love for it to do. But there we go. We've got the cross all glued up. And this is going to be fine. I know for a lot of you, you may say, uh-oh, you know, how's that going to stay together? What happens if it breaks? Well, we're not going to worry about that. We've got one that's already done, all dry. And the next step that we're going to do is we're going to start working on putting our twine around the center portion of the cross. And as you'll remember from this one, maybe we should leave this one sort of hanging there so you can see what our goal is. This one I used a twine, I guess it was about the same size, and then this one, the twine is actually a little bit heavier, which is fine. It still came out nicely. But the first thing we want to do is we want to go to the back side. I'm going to put a dot of Gorilla Hot Glue, and I'm going to lay this twine over that spot right there and let that hot glue dry. Okay. And then I'm going to put a dot of hot glue here, and I'm going to start what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start winding this in a X pattern. If you can see that. And I just made my nail snap because I grabbed it wrong. Okay. See, once you've got it wrapped like this, even if that glue sort of doesn't hold, it's going to be fine, because once it's wrapped, it's going to be secure. So, but this one, I sort of snapped it, and I think we're going to just go ahead and we're going to do the other one for now, because I don't want to mess with this one. The purpose for using the super glue is basically to give it sort of a temporary hold, so to speak, so that you can move on to the next steps. And I pressed a little too hard on that there, and so I kind of messed up the whole deal. So we're just going to start all over with this one, because we do have it glued together, and it's on there good. And that's our Gorilla. I always use Gorilla hot glue, just as an FYI, when I do all of my projects, if I'm using hot glue, it's always Gorilla Glue. So we're going to just take this and we're going to go around the nail here and back up under, and we're going to make an X. So you can see we've made an X on the front. And then we're going to go around the bottom portion of the nail, and we're going to bring our X across again in the other direction. And again, we're going to come around the top of the nail, and we're going to come around with our X one last time. And then we're going to go to the back, put a dot of hot glue in the center there, and we're going to tightly lay that down. And I like to take my finger, and because my glue does not get that hot in my glue gun, I like to sort of press the glue into it so that I don't have to worry that that's going to come apart. Okay, so far that's what we have on the front. Maybe you can see it better under that light. There we go. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to wrap twine around each of the ends. So again, we start on the back with our glue. And I would like to, I think a good thing for you to do with your twine is to take and sort of torch the end so that it doesn't fray. This is a dry twine. It doesn't have any wax or anything on it, but it will still help it to hold together. Okay, and then I'm just going to wrap it around a few times. And we're going to glue to the back side. I'm putting just a dot of hot glue, and then I'm going to press it in. And any excess that's stuck to my hands, I'm pulling it off. If you have an extremely hot glue gun, you're not going to want to press that with your hand. You're going to want to use a popsicle stick or a little rubber spatula or something like that that will prevent you from getting burned. And we're going to move on to the next one now. Little dot of hot glue. We're going to lay our string on there, and we're just going to start wrapping. And we're going to glue it to the back. These are so fun to make, and they're so really kind of therapeutic in a way, because they're easy to make. You can make them with things that you have around the house. And it's just kind of one of those things that's just very therapeutic and very fun to do. So now we're going to take our twine and we're going to do the top and the bottom of the center nail. So I'm going to again turn it over to the back side. And you always want to make sure that you start on the back, because the back side is not going to be your pretty side. It doesn't matter what you do. Your back side, as long as you start it always in the back, it's not going to be the side that you're going to have, you know, sticking out all the time. So I have wrapped it around 3 times, putting a tiny dot of hot glue on the back, and I'm going to lay my twine over that hot glue. And then I'm just going to snip that off. Okay, one last thing to do. We're going to do the bottom side. And what I like to do when I do the bottom is I'm going to do a little stripe of hot glue, and I like to come down to the tip of the nail and try and bring my twine all the way down to that tip. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm trying to kind of get it to wrap around that tip so that we don't have a sharp edge sticking out there. And then I'm going to wrap it around, and I'm going to wrap it all the way to the bottom. And this, at this point, because of the way the bottom part of the nail is, we're going to put some hot glue sort of around the tip, and we're going to keep wrapping our twine. And I think I might have done a bad job on that one. There's a very strong possibility. We're at the back now. And actually, no, that looks pretty good. I think what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue, and I'm just going to sort of press it in to the bottom of that. Okay, so now we have twine wrapped around each of the points and the center. So I'm going to set my twine aside, and the next thing that we want to do is we want to sort of embellish the center piece of this cross. So what I'm going to do is I thought these leaves would be really pretty to use as an embellishment. So that's why I sort of took them out, and we're going to put one going in each direction, that way and that way. And I think what I want to do is I think I'm going to use E6000 on this, because you all know that E6000 is really my go-to glue, and it's what I really prefer to use. So that's what I'm going to use on this part here. And what I'll do is I'll use a dot of E6000 and a tiny, tiny dot of hot glue. And I'm just going to press that leaf into the centerpiece and hold it. So we want that hot glue to have a chance to set and dry. And it takes, I think this Gorilla Hot Glue has about a 45-second work time. So the best thing for you to do is to try and hold it down for that 45 seconds until it sticks. And then you don't have to worry that it's going to come off. And this one, I'm just going to put the E6000 down on the nail. And let's see, we'll dot the hot glue on the back of the leaf. And again, we're going to press that leaf sort of into that center piece and hold it down. And I think this one's going to be really, really pretty when we're done, you guys. The only thing that I haven't done, and I should have, is to find a centerpiece that I want to use. And actually, I think what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to go simple. A lot of times what I would do is I would use a piece of bling like I did on this one. This one's got a piece of bling in the middle. And I've got lots of that stuff, but I haven't gone through it to see what I wanted to use. Here's a piece here that I think might work nicely. We'll see. Let me just cut this off here, and I will show you what I've got. Okay, I have this little piece here that has a rhinestone at the top. And I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit. Let's see if I can find my little file. I'm going to take this and just sort of clean the edges where I clipped it so that it's not sharp. We don't want anybody to get cut. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll glue that on the center there, and it will be extremely pretty. So let's do that. Actually, I was thinking, no, that just adds too much to it. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to put some E6000 down the center of it, and make sure you always close your E6000, guys, because it does tend to dry out and glop up at the center. And then I'm going to put a dot of hot glue, and if I can just hold on to this long enough, I'm going to hold that down on the centerpiece. And okay, so now I messed up and I forgot to do one step. As you can see on this one, at the top, I have a piece of that twine that I looped, and then I wrapped my other twine around it. So now we're going to have to kind of do that on the back end, which is okay. I mean, I guess it's good to make mistakes when I'm doing the video so that you know how to fix the mistake if you forget to do that. So really all we're going to do is I'm going to take a dot of hot glue, and I'm going to press that twine on that side, and I'm going to cut it so that it's easier to work with. We have just that little, and I didn't cut it quite enough. Okay, and I think I'm gonna torch it a little bit and twist. And now we're gonna take it and glue it on the other side. And then what we'll do is we'll just take another piece of twine, and that top piece is just gonna end up being a little bit thicker, which is fine. It won't take away from the look at all. That's the beauty of having something like this that you can sort of fix on the back end. So now we've got our little loop on the bottom or on the top, and that's how we're going to hang it. And I'm going to take a little dot of hot glue. I'm going to lay this piece down, and I'm just going to wrap it around a couple of times, and I'm going to hot glue it to the back again and try and make it so that it's not real thick back here. Okay. Now I'm able to work with this, but the hot glue didn't set real strong on this middle piece. I'm able to work with it, but it could easily mess up on me. So I'm going to be really, really, really careful with this right now so that I don't ruin it. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take this little piece that I have here and I think we're gonna adhere that down there, just to kind of add a little bit of interest to this part of the cross. And since they're brown flowers, they could go either way. They're not frou-frou-y or not real feminine, so I'm going to take in hot glue and I'm just going to wrap them around so that they're wrapped on the nail. And I'll take a little hot glue on the other side and do the same thing. Okay. So this is what we have so far. The last thing we have to do now is to just put a, we just have to put a, oh, doggone it, that one is just, I should have used the, probably should have used the super glue on these. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put the chain on. So really all we need is a small piece of chain like this, and this piece is, let's see, 5 inches, and I'm going to take and use I need 2 8mm jump rings, and I'm going to use one 10mm jump ring. And all we're going to do now is we're going to hook on our lobster clasp. And I always like to check to make sure it's a working clasp. I hate to get something on there and then have it not work, because every once in a while you will get a bad part and you'll get a clasp that doesn't work right, and that's very frustrating. And I would very much hate to sell something to someone and have not tested that to make sure that it works. So all we did was we put our jump ring inside the last link of the chain, put our lobster clasp on there, and now we're going to close that jump ring until it clicks. You can feel it kind of click in the right space. And then we're going to put the 10mm jump ring on the center piece of this twine, and we're just going to wrap it on there, close it up, and that way this jump ring is facing this way, and our chain is going to go through the center of that, and it slides right through. And then I always put a jump ring on the other end. Some people would just use the chain link, and there are times when if I'm making something for myself or whatever, I'll just use the chain link to hook my clasp onto. But it really is better to use a jump ring because you know, that's what they're for, and that thing, the lobster clasp, can hook onto that, and it makes it easier to get it on and off. So there we have it. We have a nail cross. And the reason that I did this video today is that I had a friend of mine that is one of my subscribers, and she's also in a group called Happy Birds Glitter Nest that I belong to. And she had asked me to do this tutorial because she wanted to learn how to make these nail crosses. So unfortunately, I'm trying to see here if I can find out who it was that asked me to do that. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to be able to figure it out that quickly and that easily. But anyway, you know who you are, and hopefully you are still watching my videos, and you'll get to see this one and see how I make my nail crosses. So this is the one that I just made. This is the one, let me grab the one that I made last night. And actually, on this one, you see how I did the rhinestone chain on this one? I'm not going to do that on this one because I really think for this one, it looks prettier without it. So I'm going to leave this one as is. I think it gives it more of just a natural look, and it's just different. I actually fashioned these after a video that I watched on Happy Bird's Glitter Nest. You have to go to her YouTube channel because she's an amazing woman. She has the most calming voice, and she does a lot of crafting videos, and she's sort of the queen of sparkle. She does some of the most beautiful creations, and mostly what she does is a lot of holiday ornaments and things like that. She especially is busy during the holidays showing people how to craft ornaments. But the thing is that she made some crosses out of popsicle sticks. And she it was based on this same sort of premise. She didn't use twine on them, but she put the popsicle sticks together similarly to this, and then embellished the centers, and then added these pretty rhinestone chains over and draped them over the crosses. And I just thought they were so pretty that I wanted to try and make something myself. And I thought, well, how could I put my own twist on something like this so that I could sort of make it my own. And this, and I did see another YouTube tutorial where there was a man that was making crosses out of nails. So I thought, okay, there we go. So I took his tutorial and her tutorial and combined them into one. And for the life of me, I can't remember who the gentleman was that I watched way back when, because this was probably actually about 2 years ago. And so I don't remember what his channel was, but if I can find it, I will definitely put his channel in the link below. And I will also include Happy Bird's Glitter Nest, the link to her YouTube channel, so that you can go over and check her out, because she's really, really awesome. She does some amazing crafts, and I think you guys will enjoy watching her work. So anyway, this napkin is a mess. These are the crosses. I hope you will give it a try. And if you have any questions, just post your questions up, and I'll try and answer them as rapidly as I can. I try to be very responsive on my channel and make sure I get back to people's comments right away. So fortunately for me, I don't have 100,000 subscribers yet. And I say yet, we need to get me there. But for now, I don't have that. So I'm able to get on, and I'm able to, answer questions and things a little easier than some of the other YouTubers are. So anyway, leave me your questions, and I will get back to you on answers and so forth. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button down below and the notification button so that you'll be notified when I do new videos. I'm working on actually a few different projects right now that I'm going to be putting videos up for. So stay tuned for that. And I may even put a kit or two for these crosses so that you can buy the materials from my Etsy store and try it out yourself if you don't have some of the items that are here available to you. And and also we are getting closer to the 3,000 subscriber mark, you guys. I'm so excited. So once we hit that 3,000 subscribers, I will be doing another giveaway, and you guys know I do give away some pretty cool stuff. So I'm waiting to get, I think we're at 2,800 right now. a little bit more than that. And so we've got a little ways, couple hundred more to go to get to that 800 mark. And so as soon as we get there, then I will be working on what my giveaway will be. I'll do a tutorial. And the way it normally works is I do a tutorial on the item that I'm going to be giving away. And then I let you guys know from there, you know, how much time you have to respond. And I do a random drawing using a YouTube program that I use in front of the camera to do my, to find my winner. So just so that you know, it's completely fair and random. And so I will be putting out more details on that as we get closer to that 3,000 mark. Anyway, thanks y'all. Thank you for watching. I've enjoyed doing this video for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're able to make some of these crosses, you know, post them on your Facebook, post them somewhere, and you know, put them out there so that we can all see them. Thanks so much, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.